In the ceaseless tumult of the modern world, a cacophony of digital notifications, societal pressures, existential anxieties, and the relentless pursuit of external validation, the quest for inner peace often feels like a distant, almost mythical endeavor. We arm ourselves with mindfulness apps, therapeutic modalities, and self-help doctrines, seeking a fortress within. Yet, an ancient and controversial practice posits that the most potent shield of serenity is not found in an external tool or philosophy, but is cultivated from within, rooted in the most fundamental of biological essences, semen retention. This is the proposition that the conscious conservation of seminal fluid, the literal seed of life, transcends mere physical discipline to become a profound alchemy of energy, transforming raw life force into the unassailable shield of inner peace. To understand the shield, we must first dismantle the reductionist, purely materialist view of semen. Modern biology defines it simply as a vehicle for genetic propagation, a mixture of spermatozoa and nutritional plasma. However, across ancient wisdom traditions, from Taoist alchemy and Ayurveda brahmacharya to Hindu tantra and Hellenistic philosophy, semen, Jing in Taoism, Ajas in Ayurveda, is revered as the quintessential distilled essence of the human organism. It is considered the foundational reserve of vital energy, or prana, the battery charge of the physical and subtle bodies. The Taoists describe it as part of the three treasures: Jing, essence; Qi, energy; and Shen, spirit. Here, Jing is the dense, foundational fuel. To expend it recklessly, they warned, is to drain the reservoir from which Qi is animated and Shen, consciousness, peace, is illumined. In this context, the act of orgasm and ejaculation is not merely a pleasurable release, but a significant expenditure of this vital essence. The intense, whole-body convulsion and subsequent neurochemical cascade, the flood of prolactin, the drop in dopamine, are seen not just as a momentary biological event, but as a massive transfer of energy outward and downward from the brain and nervous system towards expulsion. It is a mini-death, a depletion. Semen retention, then, is the conscious decision to halt this habitual outward dissipation. It is the practice of redirecting this potent energy, known as transmutation, upward and inward, a process called Vajroli Mudra in yogic science, or the microcosmic orbit in Taoism. This redirected energy becomes the raw material for forging the shield. The forging occurs on multiple, interconnected levels: the physiological, the psychological, the emotional, and the spiritual. Inner peace is often misunderstood as the absence of conflict or stress. In reality, peace is coherence, a state in which your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned. You may face challenges, criticism, or pressure, yet remain inwardly still. This kind of peace does not come from avoiding life. It comes from being rooted. Energy integrity is central to this state. When your nervous system is overstimulated and your desires constantly pull you outward, your inner world fragments. You become reactive rather than responsive. You seek relief instead of clarity. Semen retention supports inner peace by reducing this fragmentation. By conserving sexual energy, you reduce internal noise. The mind slows. Emotions stabilize. Your attention becomes less hijacked by impulse. Over time, a quiet strength develops, a sense that you are no longer at war with yourself. This is why many practitioners describe retention not as tension, but as calm authority over one's inner life. To say that your life force is a shield does not mean you become closed, cold, or detached from intimacy. A shield is not a wall. It does not cut you off from the world. It protects your core while allowing you to engage from strength. When a man leaks energy compulsively, through pornography, excessive ejaculation, or unexamined desire, he becomes porous. External events penetrate too easily. A harsh word destabilizes him. Temptation overrides his values. Anxiety and irritability increase because there is no energetic boundary. Retention strengthens that boundary. With a stable reserve of life force, you are less affected by provocation. You do not need to prove yourself. You do not chase validation. You can observe desire without immediately obeying it. This is the shield, not aggression, but groundedness. Inner peace is protected because your center is no longer negotiable. Modern culture often equates freedom with indulgence. Do what you want, when you want, as often as you want. Yet this version of freedom produces addiction, not liberation. True freedom is the ability to choose consciously, to act rather than react. Semen retention is a discipline, but discipline is not punishment. Discipline is training. It sharpens the will and clarifies intention. Each moment of restraint strengthens your capacity to tolerate discomfort without escaping. Over time, this capacity spills into other areas of life. You become more patient in conflict, more focused in work, more present in relationships. This is because the same muscle used to resist compulsive release is the muscle used to maintain inner peace under pressure. Retention trains you to sit with intensity without being consumed by it. One of the most reported effects of semen retention is emotional stabilization. This is not emotional numbness, but emotional depth without volatility. When sexual energy is constantly discharged, mood often fluctuates. Periods of stimulation followed by lethargy, confidence followed by doubt. Retention interrupts this cycle. By conserving energy, the body and mind move toward equilibrium. Dopamine sensitivity recalibrates. Pleasure becomes less frantic and more subtle. You begin to enjoy silence, solitude, and simplicity. Inner peace thrives in this environment. Without constant craving, your emotional landscape becomes navigable. You feel sadness without collapse, desire without desperation, joy without excess. This balanced emotional field is the fertile ground of peace. Sexual energy is creative energy. It is the same force that drives art, innovation, leadership, and spiritual insight. When retained, it seeks expression in higher forms. Men practicing retention often report increased creativity, sharper intuition, and a sense of purpose. This is not mystical exaggeration. It is a natural redirection. Energy that is not expelled seeks transformation. This process, often called transmutation, turns raw desire into vision, discipline, and meaning. And meaning is a cornerstone of inner peace. A man who knows why he wakes up each morning is not easily shaken. Retention does not suppress sexuality. It elevates it. Sexuality becomes less about release and more about presence, intimacy, and intention. One of the paradoxes of semen retention is that it often improves relationships, even though it involves restraint. This is because retention cultivates presence. When a man is not driven by constant sexual hunger, he listens better. He sees more clearly. He is less transactional. His interactions are grounded, not needy. This presence creates safety for himself and for others. Inner peace becomes contagious. People feel calmer around someone who is not internally fractured. In romantic relationships, this can deepen intimacy. Desire becomes intentional rather than compulsive. Connection replaces consumption. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and share the video. It is important to acknowledge that semen retention is not a shortcut to enlightenment. In fact, it often brings unresolved issues to the surface. When the usual escape valves are closed, suppressed emotions emerge. This is not failure. It is initiation. Inner peace is not achieved by avoiding pain, but by integrating it. Retention removes distractions and forces honesty. Anxiety, loneliness, or anger may arise. The shield of life force does not block these experiences. It gives you the strength to face them without collapsing. Over time, what once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. You learn that peace is not the absence of inner storms, but the confidence that you can weather them. We live in a hypersexualized environment designed to extract attention and energy. Pornography, advertising, and social media constantly stimulate desire without fulfillment. This environment profits from energetic leakage. Semen retention is a quiet rebellion. It is a refusal to be drained by systems that benefit from your weakness. By retaining your life force, you reclaim authorship over your inner world. This reclamation is profoundly peaceful. There is a deep calm that comes from knowing your energy is your own, that it is not being siphoned away unconsciously. Inner peace is often mistaken for passivity or detachment. In truth, it is power under control. A peaceful man is not harmless. He is dangerous but disciplined. He has energy, but it is governed by wisdom. Semen retention contributes to this state by increasing self-respect. Each act of restraint reinforces the belief, I am in command of myself. This belief radiates into every domain of life. You walk differently. You speak with less urgency. You act with deliberation. The shield of inner peace is forged from this self-trust. Semen retention is not for everyone, nor is it a dogma. But as a practice, it offers a radical invitation to treat your life force as sacred, to guard it, to refine it, to use it intentionally. In doing so, you discover that inner peace is not something you chase. It is something you defend. And your greatest defense is not aggression or withdrawal, but energetic integrity. When your life force is conserved and aligned, the world may remain chaotic, but it no longer owns you. Your center holds. Your mind quiets. Your presence deepens. Your life force becomes your shield. And within that shield, peace takes root, not as an escape from life, but as a grounded way of inhabiting it fully. Join the Retain to Thrive Telegram channel at the link below, where we focus on building discipline, overcoming distractions, and achieving goals. Join the supportive community sharing tips, motivation, and accountability. Let's grow together, one step at a time. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and share the video.